graces, all of the stuff necessary to become more valuable to the marketplace. I'm telling you, your whole life can explode into change. Promotions, no problem. Becoming more valuable to the company, I'm telling you, no problem. Money, no problem. Economics, no problem. Future, no problem. If you just go to work on the right thing. Not get things out there to change. Don't try to change the seed. Don't change the soil. Don't change the sunshine. Don't change the rain. Don't change the mix of seasons. Let the miracle of everything that's available work for you, and start working on the inside. Work on your philosophy. Work on your attitude. Work on your personality. Work on your language. Work on the gift of communication. Work on all of your abilities. And if you'll start making those personal changes, I'm telling you, everything will change for you. Now, let me give you another scenario on personal development. It's called the 4 major lessons in life to learn. Before we get to the 4 major lessons in life to learn, let me give you a key phrase for your notes. Here it is. Life and business is like the seasons. Life and business is like the seasons. Frank Sinatra sings, life is like the seasons. Now, here's one of the key phrases that changed my life. Starting at age 25, you can see this whole scenario. Personal development for me began. I've never been the same since. Here's the next key phrase. You cannot change the seasons, but you can change yourself. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. My best hope, right? When I'm 25 years old, my best hope was to go through the day with my fingers crossed saying, I sure hope things will change. I sure hope things will change. It seemed to be my only way for my life to get better if things would change. Here's what I discovered. It isn't going to change. It isn't going to change. I did a seminar one time for Standard Oil executives and management in Honolulu, now known as Chevron. And we're talking economics one day around the conference table. And one of them said to me, Mr. Rohn, you know some fairly important people.
Good morning, guys. Dakota back with another YouTube live stream. The reason this is labeled do not click is because this is a session of crunching numbers, right? It's a really dry session, dry stream right now, because all I'm doing is just going through screenshots, literally reviewing, and I do this to give you guys an inside look of at least the background work I know that I do, that I'm working on in order to become a full-time trader, and hopefully can inspire and motivate some people along the way as you guys are going through your own journeys. But let's go ahead and get into this. So I'm actually gonna do my daily plan today on live stream. I've been pretty secretive about it for the most part, but it's always up there in the tab before I start. Now today I did not complete it this morning before the stream, and before I move on, I want to be sure to complete it because it's my goal for this month to have it checked off every single day. So I'm not going to skip it right now. So anytime that I don't get it done before the stream, I'm going to be doing it on the stream with you guys. Okay, so for the daily plan, right, I basically have it mapped out where I have these months, not months, but every week's like has its own tab, right? So I can go back to any week that I want to review and see what my setup was compared to what I actually did at the end of the day. So how it starts, obviously the day, then the date, and then I go with the currency of news that's coming out that day, right? Then the events that are happening, the time, and then the forecast for those events. And actually for the event, I go ahead and link the actual news event so I can go to it and be able to review it and see what's actually going on, or what the actual results and things, like basically how has it got to this point, essentially, right? And that's for every news event. And I primarily get my news from Forex Factory. There was a time where I did Forex Factory and my FX book, but simplifying things, right? Simplifying things is very vital to sustainable effort, right? I have a video where I talk a little bit about burnout and like just all these, like there can be a ton of minuscule things that could have a huge result if you like add or take them out, have a different effect on you, right? So after I do that, I'll come back and review it after the news comes out. Then I do my daily bias. Now daily bias is when I actually start to look at the charts. So I'll look at the pairs the 3 pairs that I'm paying attention to. Okay, Euro JPY is the top one right now. I'm holding this position and looking for price to push up. Okay, now something that I'm going to check, obviously here, like I have that screenshot saved already. I'm actually gonna want this later though for the review. Let me hide that. Okay, so have this move that I'm currently holding, and then look for price to push up to TP1, where I will take partials and move my stops to break even. Right now, there's a possible scaling in opportunity that could happen. I just have to wait about an hour, a little over almost 2 hours, and we'll see if that happens. Now, am I gonna place a new position here? Yes, if that scaling opportunity happens, like I just said. Now that's the only thing, all right? Everything else, there's nothing for me to do unless price reaches this level. So in order, is it sequentially? Let's say in order, okay? In order, first thing I'm going to do is look for my scaling opportunity. The first thing that could possibly happen if price continues to push up is price gives me a scaling opportunity. Okay, that's the upside. Now the downside, the other alternative before anything else happens, is price could just come straight back down to entry and then go to my stop loss. Now right now, in that case, I would just have to take a stop loss. I'll just be stopped out. That's right now. So the only thing that causes me to take any type of action is if price gives me my setup entry. Okay, now following that, if price pushes up to the TP, I'll be taking partials and moving my stops to break even. That's pretty much it. So those are the 2 or 3 next possible steps. So I'm going to start with Euro JPY bias. I'm looking for the buy, and then buy levels. I'm looking for a stop entry in this area, 131.13. It's not as bright as I thought it was. Okay, then I'll write out my expectations for the day. So, expectation number one, let's say if price scales down for now. I will be cutting losses soon. I just have to complete my review. If price goes down, let it hit a sell. Next would be what time is it right now? It's 7, 9. Okay. If the X setup comes at 9, okay, and that's how I put my expectations for the day, or at least do one pair. We've got 2 more pairs to go. ADUSD is actually being really nice right now, or just providing really nice setups, right? Or providing a better setup is what I want to say. Okay, originally we had this reversal setup here, but now the price hasn't actually rejected here. That means could see a deeper retracement, and I would like to see a deeper retracement to the 50 instead. Have I spoken too soon? I think I have. Price hasn't really broken this area yet, so still potential for it to buy off here, and I still have to check it. Okay. I like key note, like when I do this or do my daily plan, this is usually at 5 or 5:30. So it's like there's like plenty of time for me to go through all the scenarios and map it out before actually like hopping on the live stream or even really thinking like actually taking a trade. Don't really look to take trades generally. There are exceptions, but most of the time my setups happen around 6:30 a.m. and then a little after the stream. There's not a lot of times where trades actually come up during the streams, unless I'm day trading for that day, and right now that is not in the plan. Alexa, set a 10-minute timer.
Second timer, 10 minutes, starting now. Do you want to name this timer?
No. Okay, scenarios for AUD/USD. So I have this 4-hour setup, right? And I'm looking for a possible reversal entry off the 38.2 or a deeper retracement off the 50. I also see the potential for price to come to the 30 or 61.8. Okay, so at this 38.2 level, at this initial level, what I need to see in order to buy man, I thought I did not hit go live. Thank you. Okay, I can focus now. What I need to see in order to buy, I need to see an aggressive buy signal. Okay, I need to see an aggressive buy signal on the 30-minute time frame. If that doesn't come, I'm not going to enter there. And since we do have news, I need to enter pretty early, like within the next 40 minutes. Otherwise, I'm looking at this pushing down further. All right. Yeah, I need to see an aggressive buy signal. Okay, what's next? What if I don't get the aggressive buy signal and price continues to scale down? If it scales down impulsively, that could potentially invalidates this setup. Because imagining this formation, like just like this, that's not a buy for me. And alternatively, we have a larger pattern forming as it scales down to that area. Okay, I see. If I get an aggressive buy signal here off 38.2, I'll look to buy. If price aggressively breaks down to the 50, I'm gonna wait for a bigger pattern, a well-defined pattern. All right. And I didn't come up with this. This is from Trader Dante. For those that have watched my videos, you guys know I keep up with him pretty well. I went through his website, studied him for a while, and he's a really good person to learn from. If you don't mind cussing or everything like that, he's really blunt, but extremely helpful. Extremely helpful. And I appreciate that he's blunt because he tells the truth without holding back. AUD/USD. So if strong, it really doesn't matter if it's the 50 level, just if it does anything else really. So AUD/USD. Then we have dollar Swiss. Dollar Swiss, I still don't want to trade. Still don't want to trade this. Okay, so that's it. And let me go ahead and fix this, because this is showing. Oh, here you go. Alright, so those are my pairs. We'll quickly go over gold and everything else. If you guys actually like me doing that on the live stream, go ahead and let me know, and I'll be sure to at least review my my daily plan when we start. I think, like, honestly, that could honestly provide value as to like what my real thought process is, and not just, oh, the market has this and I'm gonna do this. And you actually see I'm thinking out different scenarios or likely scenarios. Gold. So how this downtrend, price could potentially push up. It looks like we have a lower time frame setup that's starting to play out. It's not moving as aggressive as I like, so possibly another leg up before pushing down. But yeah, still just looking for it to push down. Moving to the next thing, because not too significant. Wow. So if we look at a lot happened here. This was yesterday. Where was I at? Wow. This was perfect. Oh my god. Where? Let me see something. Why am I scrolled up? Okay, yeah. Okay, US 30. So look for it to come down to here, look for a push up, and then I was looking for a short-term sell here. I believe I said don't really look for the sell because it's an area where price could. Looking for price to push up because we have this demand zone down here, essentially. But we did have a selling area there. Personally, I wouldn't have taken it. You got a short little squeeze. If we go down to the, what time frame do I have this on? I have it on 15. Alright. So my entry would be on 5. Yeah, that was perfect. Alexa, stop. What is that alert for? Give me 1 second. It's for one of these pairs. It's not for this. That's gonna take an hour or so. It's probably for this one because I was looking for a potential entry. Yeah, which hasn't come. It looks, wow. I actually already got an entry signal at 3 a.m. Give me another one and I'll take it. Alexa, set a timer for 29 minutes.
Second timer, 29 minutes, starting now.
Okay, back to US 30. Check. I did not mean to make it all caps. I just started all caps and I just kept it going. How I know it's like 10 times the pips. Here's 30. You have messed up. Uh-huh. All right, 1 second. We're just gonna take it like this, and that's not bright enough. Oh man, no. No. Okay, we're gonna keep it white like that. Nice. Okay, we have one more and I can get to the work. It's not a dollar Swiss. I think it's Bitcoin. All right, looking for a reversal. I'm looking for a reversal now. Looking for it to push up. Not really looking for it to come up, down any lower. At least at the moment, I'm looking for a breakout and potential buy setup. Yeah, that's it. I really like this setup. Okay, so give me a quick break, and then I'm gonna just knock. So I have to knock it out day by day. Can't try to get everything done in one day. So it's just gonna take a little bit longer than I expected. But as long as I get it done, I'm good. Okay, give me a second. Take a quick break. If you guys have any questions, go ahead, type in the live chat. And yeah. Well, before we do that, like the next step in this plan, like obviously I can check these points off because I have those levels made, and then at the end of the day I come back and say, okay, what actually happened, what I do well, what I do poorly, and then the actual results type of thing. Like I said, I got this from Tom Dante's website. It's completely free, but I edited it. I made edits to it to personalize for me think I probably took one thing out, I think. And originally I actually added something extra as well, but again, overcomplicating things and ended up simplifying it and having this for now. Alright, I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
It isn't going to change. It isn't going to change. I did a seminar one time for Standard Oil executives and management in Honolulu, now known as Chevron. And we're talking economics one day around the conference table. And one of them said to me, Mr. Rohn, you know some fairly important people around the world. You have a chance to travel internationally. Can you tell us what you think the 80s are going to be like? Now you can tell how far back this goes. He said, what do you think the 80s are going to be like? And I thought for a moment, and I said, gentlemen, I do know the right people. And I do have some experience, I think I can tell you. So they all leaned in a little closer, and I said, gentlemen, based on the people I know and based on the best of my own experience, I think in the 80s it's going to be about like it's always been. Aren't you glad you came today? I mean, that's inside stuff. I don't just spread that around everywhere. It's going to be about like it's always been. It isn't going to change. To hope that it'll change is called whistling in the wind, being so naive, hoping for something that isn't going to occur. I can give you the shortest history lesson that you can imagine in one sentence. What describes human history on the spinning planet the last 6,500 years? Let me describe it for you in one sentence. Here's human history in one sentence. Opportunity mixed with difficulty. That's about as simple as you can put it. And opportunity mixed with difficulty isn't going to change. The man says, well, if it isn't going to change for the future, if it isn't going to change in the 90s, how will my life ever change? Answer, when you change. And if you will change, everything will change for you. Your bank account will change, your income will change, your future will change, the ability to acquire your dreams will change, it'll all change if you will change. And now let's go through the scenario of the seasons. Life and business is like the seasons. Let's cover them. Here's number one, major lesson in life to learn. Learn how to handle the winters. You say, well, Mr. Rohn, a lot of this stuff is fairly obvious. That's true. Just need somebody like me just to come along and remind us. This is what this is called today, a reminding session. I got no new truth for you to discover. This is all old stuff. We just need to hear it again. Somebody get on our case a little bit, right? We all need that. Here's number one lesson, learn how to handle the winters. That's obvious. The winters come right after falls. And pray tell how often? Every year, according to written history, for the last 6,500. To cross your fingers and say, I hope it doesn't come. I'm telling you, we call that naive. Now, there's all kinds of winters. Not just the winter of the season. But there's all kinds of winters. Winter time, the down time, the discouraging time. One writer called it the winter of discontent. The winter when you can't figure it out, the winter when it all goes wrong. Economic winters, social winters, political winters, and personal winters. When your heart is smashed in 1,000 pieces, the nights are unusually long. It's called winter time. Barbra Streisand sings, it used to be so natural to talk about forever, but used to be's don't count anymore. They just lay on the floor till we sweep them away. You don't sing me love songs. You don't say you need me, and you don't bring me flowers anymore. A song of winter. But hey, we're acquainted with all those winter scenarios. We've been through them all. Now the question is, what do you do about the winters? Well, you can't get rid of January by tearing it off the calendar. But here's what you can do with the upcoming winters of your life. The long ones, the short ones, the easy ones, the more difficult ones. Here's what you can do. Get wiser and stronger and better. Just make a list of that trio. of good words, wiser, stronger, and better. To challenge for yourself the upcoming winters of your life, don't you think you could read more? Pick up the scenario, pick up the books, pick up the cassettes. So I would put some stuff on cassettes so you can listen to it, put it in books so you can read it. Now putting it on video so you can see it. I'm telling you, anybody that wants to can get wiser. Next is stronger. Anybody can get stronger. If you're willing to do the push-ups, you can get stronger. If you're willing to put yourself through the paces, you can get stronger. Can you develop stronger skills? And the answer is yes. Start practicing, practicing, practicing. And you can get stronger. Can you get stronger in handling life situations? Of course. But you got to go to work on yourself. You can't blame out there wishing it was easier. Wish you were stronger. And here's the last one, get better. Anybody can get better. Language, we can all get better. I've been lecturing now for 33 years, and I'm telling you, today versus 33 years ago, I'm better. First time I gave a talk, I stood up, my mind sat back down. I mean, I've been through that whole deal. Opened my mouth, nothing came out for a while. My knees are banging together, the sweat's pouring off my face, I'm shaking like a leaf. It's called terror, in case you haven't tried it. Those first attempts. But I'm telling you, I got through it, and I did it again, and I got through it, and I did it again, and I got through it. And now, of course, I can lecture for a few hours in one day. Anybody can get better. Develop the skills, okay? Handle the upcoming winters. Don't wish away the winters. That's called naive. Wish for the skills. Wish for the strength. Wish for the wisdom. Here's the second major lesson in life to learn. Learn how to take advantage of the spring. Uniquely enough, spring follows winter. And pray tell how often? 6,500 times. I mean, those are good odds. I'd gamble on it one more time. I mean, those are good odds. Every time. You can't beat those odds. Spring is called opportunity. Another day is called opportunity. Days follow nights. How about that? And how often? Every day. But now here's what we must learn to do with opportunity. Underline two strategic words in that sentence. Take advantage. Just because spring comes is no sign you're going to look good in the fall. You've got to take advantage of it. You've got to do something with it. Read every book you can on what to do with your springs, what to do with your opportunities, what to do with your days, what to do with your chances. Don't miss the educational process. Don't miss the process of learning. To understand, opportunity keeps coming, but the key is taking advantage, taking advantage. Everybody in this room's got to learn to do one of two things. Plant in the spring or beg in the fall. And it doesn't mean you can't become a sophisticated beggar.
We're back.
You don't need the reputation. Learn to plant in the spring. Take advantage.
No, I wanted to listen to Jim Ron all the way throughout, but I forgot I said I'm going to actually be speaking or have my mic unmuted the entire time. Okay. Excuse me. I actually need to bring up programs at the moment, so. Okay. Okay. Let's get to this. What? Okay, we last left off 171. I have partials and no exit. Okay, this is my exit. One. If I play classical music, I'll just get copyrighted, right? Focus. That doesn't matter.
opportunity keeps coming, but the key is taking advantage, taking advantage. Everybody in this room's got to learn to do one of two things: plant in the spring or beg in the fall. And it doesn't mean you can't become a sophisticated beggar, but you don't need the reputation. Learn to plant in the spring, take advantage. And there's an urgency here on springtime because there's just a few springs, handful of springs offered to each of us. So take advantage swiftly and quickly. Don't just let the time pass. The Beatles wrote, "Life is very short." And for John Lennon, it was extra short. For Michael Landon, it was extra short. But life is short. At the longest, it's short. So don't just let the springs pass. Take advantage. Seize the day. Seize the moment. Seize the opportunity. That's the key. Springtime. Life is fragile. Life is brief. Elton John sings, "She lived her life like a candle in the wind." It's fragile. It's brief. Whatever you're going to do, you got to get at it. Don't just let it pass away. Here's major lesson number 3. In the summer, learn how to nourish and protect. We've got 2 challenges in the summer in the personal development part of our life. And that is become capable and powerful enough in the summer and wise enough in the summer to nourish what's good and defend yourself against what's bad. Nourish and defend. The summertime is an interesting time. It holds the possibility of the promise of harvest time, but it also has the possibility of the threat. Sure enough, as soon as you've planted your garden, the busy bugs and the noxious weeds are out to take it. And let me give you another word of advice. They will take it unless you prevent it. Summertime is an interesting time. Best as I can describe summertime, you got to nourish your values like a mother. Nourish like a mother. Go after the threat to the values you've got like a father. Deal with the weeds. Kill the weeds. Nourish the garden and kill the weeds. That's called summertime. What a challenging time. Give life like a mother. Take life like a father. Summertime. You got to deal with the negative as well as the positive. Summertime is a unique, complex mix of positive and negative. Opportunity and threat. What a scenario of life itself. Opportunity and threat to the opportunity. And you got to deal with both. You got to think positive and you got to think negative. You got to handle what's ever out to threaten you. You got to learn to threaten it back. Summertime. Interesting time. Nourish like a mother. Defend like a father. You got to be like your bloodstream in the summer. Red corpuscles to what? Nourish. White corpuscles to what? Fight. You got to both nourish and fight. You got to nourish and be vigilant. Okay. White corpuscles think negative. You can't just think positive. We call you naive. Somebody says, "Well, I've been taught to be all positive." You'll be some kind of freak. You can't be all positive. Thank God for white corpuscles that think negative all day. Guess what white corpuscles are looking for all day? Problems, infection. White corpuscles say, "Just show me some infection, I'll kill it." Why? It's out to kill the body. It's out to kill our chances. It's out to kill our future. Whatever threatens us, we threaten. I'm asking you to take sword to your enemies. Whatever's out to threaten you, threaten your health, you got to threaten it back. Like white corpuscles. Kill what's evil. Nourish what's good. Love like a mother. Hate like a father. Father says to whatever threatens his family, take 2 or 3 more steps toward this family and threaten my family, you'll cease to exist. I'm father, I kill. Don't let the weeds take your garden, wreck your chances for a good harvest. Deal with your enemies in the summer. Called good and evil. The great struggle in life is called good and evil. Tyranny and liberty. Sickness and health. It's the way life is. Tyranny threatens liberty, takes over Kuwait. Can't have that. If tyranny takes Kuwait, it'll take Saudi Arabia. If it takes Saudi Arabia, it'll take something else. Where are we going to stop tyranny? As soon as possible, lest it take the whole world value. So George Bush draws a line in the sand, consults with his allies, sends 500,000 troops to Saudi Arabia. Finally, Desert Storm, takes on Saddam Hussein, drives him out of Kuwait. Why? Because it has to be done. The great struggle between liberty and tyranny, the great struggle between evil and good. And you've got to treat your own life the same. Says Saddam Hussein, you can't have Kuwait, can't have Saudi Arabia. Furthermore, we're going to kick you out. Hires Chief White Corpuscle General Schwarzkopf. Takes care of the matter. I'm asking you in the summer, nourish like a mother. Threaten whatever threatens you like a father. Now, you can also turn around the scenario, that's true. Love like a father, hate like a mother. Give life like a father, take life like a mother. You can turn the scenario around. The key is both love and hate. Single parents have got the greatest challenge. Love like a mother, hate like a father. Love like a father, hate like a mother. Nothing more dangerous than an angry mother. Beware the female species of the animal. They call her Black Widow spider. Why? Because when she finishes, there is no male spider. I saw this article. I was flying on an airplane up in Canada. I saw this article in one of the airplane magazines. Showed a picture of this guy with his shirt off, these claw marks down his back, teeth marks in his neck. The guy almost got killed. He was out in the woods, saw a mama bear with her little cub. Said, oh, this looks cute. Had his flash camera, went flash, took a picture. Mama bear treats it unkindly, promptly chases him. Caught him, almost killed him before they got to him. Beware, mama bear. So, love like a father, hate like a mother. However you want to treat this scenario, it's very important. It's called summertime. Part of the personal development challenge is to be challenged to learn to nourish all of your values, from a garden to a family relationship, to a love affair, to a marriage, to a business, anything that's valuable to you called equity. You got to nourish it, you got to feed it, you got to take care of it, but you've also got to defend it. It's called the way things are. Key. In the summer. Now here's number 4. Fourth major lesson in life to learn. In the fall, in the harvest, learn to reap in the harvest without complaint. Important part of personal development. Reap in the harvest without complaint. Take full responsibility. Once you've learned this scenario, it's not the seed, it's not the soil, it's not the sunshine, it's not the rain, it's not the miracle of the giving of life, it's not the seasons that's to be criticized. We must take personal responsibility. So in the harvest, take personal responsibility. It's your crop. Whatever you've reaped, it's your crop. Take responsibility. No complaint. And here's the next one. No apology. The best of human maturity is no apology if you've done well, and no complaint if you haven't. Knowing that that's where the answers lie, within, and then without, in the miracle of the possibilities that we have to work with. Those are the 4 major lessons in life to learn. Let's talk about some more parts of personal development. Here's the first one. Physical. The physical side. Got to take care of yourself. Do not neglect to take care of yourself. Good phraseology used in the Bible, in my amateur way, but let me put it to you best I can. Here's what it says. Treat your body like a temple. That's a good phrase, good suggestion. A temple meaning something you take extremely good care of. A temple, that's a good phrase. Treat your body like a temple, not a woodshed. A temple, a temple. Take good care. It's the only place you've got to live currently. The temple. Nutrition. My mother studied nutrition, passed it along to me, passed it along to my father, my children, my grandchildren. What a legacy that was. Learning to just take care of yourself. Key phrase. Some people don't do well because they don't feel well. They've got the gifts, they've got the skills. Maybe they just haven't taken care of themselves. They don't have the vitality. Key phrase, vitality is a major part of success. Vitality. So take care of yourself. I know a guy that raises racehorses. I'm telling you, the guy feeds his horses better than he feeds himself. He's so careful how he feeds his horses. He's so careful what they eat. He's so careful that they get everything. And because of that extreme care, I mean, these are magnificent animals. They can run like the wind. But you ought to see this guy. 10 steps up a flight of stairs, and I mean, he's all out of breath. His horses can run like the wind, and he can hardly make it up the steps. The guy takes care of his animals better than he takes care of himself. Some people feed their dogs better than they feed their kids. Physical. Now, there's all kinds of parts to physical. Here's one. Appearance is part of the physical. Never have a second chance to make a first impression. The physical side. And here's some of the best advice on appearance I can give you. It comes from ancient script again. It says, God looks on the inside, people look on the outside. Isn't that good information? Now you say, well, people shouldn't judge you by how you look. Well, let me give you a clue. They do. They do. You can't deal in these shoulds and shouldn'ts. You'll be tipped over the rest of your life. Now, of course, when people get to know you, they'll judge you by more than what they see. But at first, they're going to take a look. So, here's the best advice I can give you. Make sure the outside is a major reflection of what's going on inside. The physical side. A few minutes a day, stay healthy. A little bit of little bit of study on nutrition, stay healthy. Key. Now here's the next part of personal development, the spiritual part. Now, I'm an amateur on the spiritual side. I do happen to believe that human beings are more than just an advanced life form. An advanced species of the animal kingdom. I do believe humans are a special creation. That's just my personal belief, and I don't ask you to buy it. But here's what I do ask you to buy. If you do believe in spirituality in any manner, here's my best advice. Study it and practice it. Do not neglect your values. Do not neglect your virtues. If you do believe in spirituality, my advice is study it and practice it. Don't let it go unstudied. Don't let it go unnourished, if you do believe. That's my best advice on the spiritual side. Now here's the third part. The mental side. Part of this personal development challenge is to develop mentally. Learn, study, grow, change. It's what schooling is all about. And the human development takes time. Incredible amounts of time. That's why we've taken the time for this seminar. It just takes time. Some things you can't cover in a 20-minute speech. You can't cover in a little 5-minute talk. It takes time. For humans, it seems like more time than any other life form, human beings. The little wildebeest in Africa Guess how much time it's got as soon as it's born to be able to run with the pack so it doesn't get eaten by the lions? Guess how much time it's got? A few minutes. As soon as the little wildebeest is born, tries to stand up, falls down. Its mother nudges it, gets it to stand back up, falls back down. Finally, on little shaky legs, it tries to nurse. Mother pushes it away. She moves away, so it can't nurse. Why? You can't nurse now. You got to develop some strength now. The lions, the lions, the lions. Falls down, gets back up, tries to nurse. Mother pushes it away. No. You got to get these legs strong. How much time have we got? Not much time. Mama wildebeest says, not much time. Not hours, not days, minutes. Wow. But the human baby, wow. After 16 years, we're not sure. Right? Unbelievable amount of time it takes. So it does take time for personal development. It does take time for spiritual development, physical development. But here's also what takes time, and that's your mental development. Feeding the mind. Nourishing the mind. Some people read so little, they got rickets of the mind. They couldn't give you a good, strong argument as to their own personal beliefs. Here's one of the challenges we've got as parents, and that is to get our kids ready to debate the major life issues of the 90s. They've got to get ready to debate. We've spent this last couple of decades debating communism. Communism taught capital belongs in the hands of the state. We've been teaching, no, capital belongs in the hands of the people. Communism taught people are too dumb and stupid to know what to do with capital. You got to take capital away from all the dumb, stupid people and give it to the all-knowing, all-wise state. And let the state run everything and let the people meekly show up for their work assignment. All glory to the state, communism taught. Kid says, well, is that right? No, all glory to the people. Let the state be the servant of its people, not the people be the servant of the state. I'm telling you, you got to be able to pick up those ideologies. You got to be able to pick up the philosophy. And here's the next part. You got to be able to defend it. If you can't defend your virtues and if you can't defend your values, I'm telling you, even in the 90s, you'll fall prey to philosophies that are not in your best interest. And we've got to help our teenagers, we've got to help our kids especially to be able to debate the major life issues, the political issues and the social issues and the religious issues and the spiritual issues and the nutritional issues and the economic issues and all of the rest of the issues that are valuable for us to build the kind of equities we want. You got to get yourself ready. And one of the ways you got to get ready is not just physical and not just spiritual. You got to get ready mentally. And this is where Shof went to work on me, to be ready mentally, to develop the philosophy and also be able to defend your virtues and your values. Let's go through it. You need a good library. Shof got me started on my library. Here's one of the books he recommended. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich. Shof said to me, doesn't that book and title intrigue you? Think and Grow Rich. Don't you have to read that book? Think and Grow Rich. I said, yes, sir. By Napoleon Hill. I went and found that book in a used bookstore. That's where I had to start. In a used bookstore. I paid less than 50 cents for it. I've still got it. It's one of the rare hardback covers. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Wow, Shof was right. Get a library started. It'll change your life. Any home over $200,000 has got a library. Why do you suppose that is? Wouldn't that make you curious? How come every home over $200,000 has got a library? Does that tell you something? Does that educate you at all? You say, well, I can't afford a $200,000 home. It doesn't matter what size home. Take your present apartment, clean out a closet, call it your library, and start acting intelligent. And start this process like I did. Start developing a library. Here's what your library needs to show: that you're a serious student of health and life, spirituality, culture, uniqueness, sophistication, economics, prosperity, productivity, sales, management, skills, values of all kinds. Let your library show you're a serious student. Don't be casual in learning. Don't be lazy in learning. Information is the key. Okay? Learning is the beginning of wealth. Learning is the beginning of health. Learning is the beginning of prosperity. Learning is the beginning of democracy, the beginning of freedom. All values, all virtues start with the learning process. So don't be lazy in learning. Don't be lazy in gathering the library that'll teach you and instruct you. And I got that book, Think and Grow Rich. Some of the ideas in that book inspired me no end, helped me to change my life. Now, it's got some weird stuff in it. You know, it's got some weird stuff. Napoleon was weird, so you gotta separate out a little of this weird stuff. But you can do that. You can separate out the weird stuff, okay? Unless you're weird, just do the weird stuff. Anyway, remember, don't be a follower, be a student. That's the key to all books. Don't be a follower, be a student. Okay. Another book he recommended. Help Me Become Financially Independent. We're going to cover that before we finish this afternoon. The book was entitled The Richest Man in Babylon. The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason, C-L-A-S-O-N. This little book, The Richest Man in Babylon, I use it as a textbook teaching teenagers how to be rich by 40, living in America. 35 if you're extra bright. Much sooner if you find a unique opportunity. I got rich by the time I was 31, didn't wait till 35. If you find a unique opportunity. So we'll get into that after we come back from our next break. Richest Man in Babylon. Get your library started. Here are some key sections to put in your library called mental food. In fact, we call it food for thought. It's so important to nourish the mind, not just the body, but nourish the mind. Key phrase. Now it needs to be well balanced. You can't live on mental candy. Somebody says, well, I just read this positive stuff. That's too second grade. You've got to get out of second grade. You can't just be inspired. You've got to be taught. You can't just be inspired. You've got to be educated. Key. Here's a good book. It's called How to Read a Book. Good title. How to Read a Book by Mortimer Adler. In this book, How to Read a Book, Mortimer, you know, is the chief editor of the new Encyclopedia Britannica. A good set of books, right, to have in your library. The Encyclopedia Britannica, chief editor, Mortimer Adler. He's in his 80s. He's still active, still writing books. I've got several of his books. The 6 Great Ideas, a lot of books. Mortimer Adler. But he wrote this book, How to Read a Book. Now, in this book, How to Read a Book, not only does he give you some good suggestions on how to get the most out of a book. It's one thing to read it, it's another thing to get the best out of it. He'll give you some techniques on how to get the best out of a book. It's very good. But here's what's also in his book, How to Read a Book, a list of what he calls the best writings ever written. The best writings ever written. I've used it as a centerpiece for my library. So I'm just asking you, take a look. If it suits you, fine. If it doesn't suit you, hey, keep looking until you find something to suit you. But well balanced. Let me give you some of that balance. Number one, history. We've all got to have a sense of history. American history, national history, international history, family history, political history. We all need a sense of history. Shortest history lesson, opportunity mixed with difficulty. No matter how far back you go, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 3,000, 4,000 years ago, I'm telling you, it all reads the same. Once you understand the thread that it isn't going to change, then what's going to change for my life? Answer, looks like I'm going to have to change. History helps us to understand how it is, what there is to work with, seed, soil, sunshine, rain, and what human beings have done with it in the past. And how many of them have, like I did by age 25, they have messed up. That's what history's for. Be a good student of history. Here's a good book, Lessons of History by Durant. Lessons of History by Durant. This little book is only 100 pages, but I'm telling you, it's so well written, you'll be intrigued, as I was. This little book, Lessons of History by Durant. Next is philosophy. Durant also wrote a good book on philosophy. The Story of Philosophy. It's got a good rundown of the key philosophers of the last several hundred years, what they taught and some of the lives they lived. You might find it a little difficult, but hey, you can't just read the easy stuff. Key phrase to add here in parentheses, don't just read the easy stuff. You won't grow. You won't change. You won't develop. Tackle the more difficult stuff. Next, novels. Novels are good. Sometimes an intriguing story keeps our attention so that the author can weave in the philosophy he or she is trying to get across. Ayn Rand was probably better at that than anybody else I could possibly think of. Atlas Shrugged, some of those towering novels. The novel kept us intrigued, but guess what she was doing all the time? Feeding us her philosophy, feeding us her philosophy. Now, whether you agreed with her philosophy or not, you had to admit she was really good at getting it out there, weaving it through the story, in the dialogue and in the speeches and in the text. Fabulous. Novels. Novels are good. Now, here's a little personal advice. Skip the trash. I mean, you know. Somebody says, well, sometimes you can find something valuable in a trashy novel. I wouldn't go through it to find it. You can find a crust of bread in a garbage can, but I wouldn't go through it. Number one, you don't need the reputation. So, not enough time to read the brilliant stuff, the good stuff. Skip the trash, really. My personal advice on personal development, becoming more valuable than you are. Key. Next is biographies and autobiographies, the stories of successful people, unsuccessful people. There's some dramatic stuff, right? Over the last 100 years, it's been written, biographies and autobiographies. Here's one of the best, the Bible. The Bible is a unique book because it's got a list of human stories on one side of the ledger, another list of human stories on the other side of the ledger. One's called examples, and the other's called warnings. And here's what we've got to have on biographies and autobiographies, both warnings and examples. In the Bible, the examples. The Bible says, look at these people's lives, follow them. Follow their philosophy, follow their advice. Then we got the warnings, right? Don't do what these people did. They messed up their life and threw their life away. Vitally important, both sides of the scenario. Now, if your life story ever gets in one of those books, make sure they use it as an example, not a warning. Also, we need balance, both sides, balance, good and evil, biographies, autobiographies. You need a book on Gandhi. You need a book on Hitler. One to illustrate how high a human being can go, and the other one to illustrate what? How low and despicable a human being can become. We need both sides of the scenario. Next, accounting. Got to have a little, at least primary view of accounting. Kids have got to start learning the difference between a debit and a credit. Next is law. We all need, right, a little bit. You don't have to be a lawyer, but you got to know contracts, what to sign, what not to sign, backups, good advice, how to be safe rather than sorry. All of us need a little law, not a lawyer, but a little law, especially these complicated days. Everything's in court these days. I learned this the hard way. Company wanted to borrow money a long time ago. Up in Canada. company wanted to borrow some money. The bank said, well, yes, we will loan the company the money if Mr. Rohn will sign personally. And I wanted to play hero, and I knew the company could pay it back. $250,000. So I signed. No problem. Sure enough, within less than a year, they paid it all back. $250,000. I am now a hero. Well, about a year later, this company gets in financial trouble. They go back to the bank and borrow this $250,000 again. I said, I hope my phone doesn't ring because I won't sign the note this time. Because I knew they were in trouble. I knew they were probably going to go bankrupt. My phone never rang. I'm off the hook. Sure enough, within less than a year, the company goes bankrupt. Can't pay. But I get this letter from the bank saying, Dear Mr. Rohn, since the company cannot perform its obligation and pay this $250,000, and since we have here your personal guarantee, would you please send us your check for $250,000? I said, hey, hold it. There must be some mistake here. I signed that first note, and they paid it all back. I wouldn't have signed the second note. I didn't sign the second note. Well, what I didn't know I had originally signed was a continuing guarantee. So now I know what the word continuing means. I'm asking you to study a little law, know what to sign, know how to defend yourself, right? Say, hey, we'll get back. Don't sign too quickly. I mean, there's all kinds of things here. Be a student. Don't be lazy in learning. How to defend as well as nourish. How to grow as well as take care of your enemies. You got to learn. Let your library indicate that you're a serious student about personal relationships with your family, gifts and skills, economics, and all the rest. Here's the next one. Economics. We're going to study that when we come back from our break. Economics. We're going to cover, especially for the kids today, how to become financially independent. We're going to let the adults listen. I've been teaching kids for the last 18, 19 years how to be rich by 40, 35 if you're extra bright. Most kids think they're extra bright. They go for 35. Or much sooner if you find a unique opportunity. We're going to get into that. Be a student of economics. Next, culture, sophistication. Don't leave that out of your life. Culture, sophistication. Culture is part of the fabric of the nation. Culture is what makes us different than dogs and animals. Culture is what makes us different from the barbarians. Culture, sophistication. Be a student of the dance and the art and the music and all the rest of those extraordinary human values that are possible for us all to participate in as well as to enjoy. Be a student of culture. And the last one is spirituality. Study it from the Bible and all the related books about spirituality. If you're a believer, study and practice. Let your library show you're a serious student. Next, keep a journal. Shelf said, Mr. Rohn, not only be a student, but the good ideas that you develop from the books. Keep a separate journal. Write all this stuff down. Here's what he said. Don't trust your memory. If you're serious about becoming wealthy and powerful and sophisticated and healthy, influential, cultured, unique, keep a journal. Don't trust your memory. If you listen to something valuable, write it down. If you come across something important, write it down. Write it down. Now, I used to take notes on pieces of paper and torn off corners and backs of old envelopes and restaurant placemats and long sheets and narrow sheets and little sheets and pieces thrown in a drawer. Found out, best way, keep a journal. I've been keeping these journals now since age 25. It makes up a valuable part of my own learning, and it's a valuable part of my library. My own journals now form a good portion of my own library. The stuff. I'm trying to get kids to do like I do, be a buyer of empty books. Kids find it interesting I'd buy an empty book. especially at my status in life. What did I pay for this one? $26. Kids say, $26 for an empty book. Why would you do that? Well, the reason I paid $26 is to press me, to see if I can't find something worth $26 to put in here. And I'm telling you, all my journals are private. But if you got a hold of one of my journals, you wouldn't have to look very far until you would say, this is worth more than $26. I must admit, if you got a glimpse of Mr. Rohn's journals, you'd have to say he is a serious student. Not just committed to his craft, but committed to life, committed to skills, committed to learning, to see what I can do with seed and soil and sunshine and rain and miracle and possibilities and turn it into equities of life and treasure, family relationships, enterprise, sales, management, gifts galore, everything you want, all available, especially in America. I'm asking you, keep a journal. I call it one of the three treasures to leave behind. Let me give you that. One of the three treasures to leave behind. Number one is your pictures.
And we're back. Okay, so made some progress on that. Now AUD/USD, like the engulfing candle came right at 8:30, like during news. Hasn't closed yet, so we'll see what happens with that. But that's the entry signal. So after that, I'll be in it or I won't. It's a 4-hour setup, so let's see if it's worth it though. Let's say it's crazy and it comes all the way up here. This also be right there. It's 5-to-1, it's worth it. Hey, does it make sense? It does make sense. There we go. I like it. I like it. I like. Yeah, we'll prepare for a worst case scenario right here. Well, it could break above. If it does break above, I'm not taking it. Well, I might have to. Okay. Next. Partials. $65, $120. Okay, we're just going to be taking partials here. Alexa, set an alarm for 9 a.m.
Third alarm set for 9 a.m.
Alright, so looking for that AUD entry, just gotta wait for that candle to close and entry confirmation to be met. Okay, and then right now it looks like, well, we still have 25 minutes. Anything could happen. Now it looks like it's not gonna get that scaling opportunity here. But we'll see. That TP gets hit. You guys already know the plan. I'll be taking partials, 50% partials, and moving stocks to break even. Alright. I actually kind of like talking that out on live, like my daily plan. It helps me be more detailed, and like hopefully can help someone else too. Like if you want this copy, I mean, like, what do I have this? I should have this in the Forex education section. I have the website where I found it there, but like mine's edit. Jeez, I don't want to say. I edit mine. Okay, I changed mine for personal, like for me personally. So if you want this exact one, I'll make a copy and send it. Okay, but yeah, those are at least the pairs that I'm actually in right now or watching right now. Let's go to gold again. Just looking for that sell setup. US 30. Looks like it's pushing. Oh yes, it's making our push. So it's rejected here, looking for it to come back to the top of the range. Man, what I reviewed like the last setup, but I didn't look at the next setup. That's a shame. But looking for price to continue, like just push up and go to the top range up here. That's crazy. I didn't look for the next setup. And what's even more crazy, it was beautiful. Got a bit of drawdown, but it was beautiful. Well, we'll find another one. Okay, let's go to the next one. Bitcoin, looking for the push up. All right. Yeah, we're good. All right, well, that's everything, guys. Really appreciate it. If you liked the video, go ahead, hit the like button, show support. And like, again, I do this to not only track my own journey, because like, and just be able to review the work that I've done and study myself at certain times, but also to motivate you guys if you're going through the same journey. Like I said before in other videos, a lot of traders always say there's a lot of work that's been put in the background, and that's 100% true, and they'll never be able to record it all, and that's 100% true, at least I believe, unless you have someone recording you 24/7. There's a lot of things that go into this, so hope this gives a little insight to that, and I hope it helps you as well. I'll catch you guys later. Oh my gosh, one second. The link to the Discord server is in the description. The link to my blog is in the description. The link to my Buy Me Coffee site is in the description. You know, it's also down there, that like button and that subscribe button. Both of those things are down there. Click, and you're good. All right, guys.